Ecclesiasticus. Did I say that the first time? I'm not sure. All right. Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 30. Okay. Like always, if you have something, bring it out. I'm not going to really go through too many spots. I think might have some for the first two verses. All right. So if you do have something, you have a precept, you have a verse you want to bring out, definitely do so. Okay. All right. Ecclesiasticus chapter 30, verse 1. He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. He that chastiseth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. All right. So, beloved, I want to make sure we have an understanding of this. So, yes, we are supposed to correct our child. Okay, that is instructed, that is in the law. Okay, and there's times where you have to use a disciplinary tool. All right, this one they're using what? The rod. All right. Why? There's a purpose behind the correction. All right. There's a difference from correction, all right, and just abuse. Okay. You need to be in the right spirit when you are disciplining or correcting. Okay. Because sometimes if we're just angry or upset or something like that, right? What can we do? We can go beyond a punishment or correction, and we're lashing out on our child. Okay. And that can cause a rift, right, in that relationship. So we want to be mindful of that. Okay. But it don't always have to be a belt or something. A lot of times, beloved, we need to get more into, even the conversation with our children and things of that nature. All right. But if you have to use the rod, the point is to what? To correct them. Okay. That he may have joy of him in the end. Okay. It's not to just have the fear. It's to what? I want my child, okay, to be disciplined a certain way that I have joy when he gets older or she gets older. Okay, that is the point of it. It is not for just whooping them upside their head and all that stuff. They bleeding, lashing all over the place. And they just no. Okay. So we want to have that balance and understand. Okay, because God's not telling us to go abusing and beating up our kids and do all that kind of stuff. All right. But he knows there is, right, where the rod can what? Correct. They can understand that. Okay. Verse 2, he that chastises his son shall have joy of him. And what? And shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. All right. So those that correct their children early usually are what? Going to reap the benefits of them and that correction later on. Right. It's harder to correct them when you haven't been correcting them and discipline them young, and then you try to do it when they're older. That's going to be very hard. Okay. Do it young. Hopefully it'll be what? Less correcting as they get older. Okay. Now let's go to common spots, because like I said, how the laws and things, how they're set up even amongst one another, or even our children, is something that the Most High put in there so we can understand what he does in regards to us. Okay. So we can understand what he does regarding us. Go to Proverbs. So, Proverbs chapter 3. Proverbs chapter 3. Okay. And we are going to go down to verse 11. All right. Proverbs chapter 3, and we're going to read verse 11 and 12. It reads, my son, despise not the chastening of Yahweh, neither be weary of his correction. For whom Yahweh loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son in whom he delighteth. Right? So we see one aspect of what? The parents got that obligation, okay, to correct their child. And don't look at it as it's not supposed to be a bad thing. All right. Correction is actually supposed to be a form of love. Okay, when you understand it. Okay, so That my son, though he torn down with the child perspective, despise not the chastening of the Lord. When children, sometimes they don't understand what you're doing when you're young, right? They say, oh, mommy don't want me to have fun, or daddy don't want me to have fun, this and that. All right. But that's not the case. Hopefully, when they get older, they can understand what you were doing, what you were trying to implement in them. All right. And they should appreciate and love you for that. All right. But he said with us, my son, despise not the chastening of Yahweh, neither be weary of his correction. All right. So we need to what? Embrace the correction of our God. All right. Neither be weary. I love that part. Neither be weary of his correction. Because some of us know, right? Some of us know this is of the Lord. Or we shouldn't. All right, this is of the Lord. But when's enough enough, right? The thing is now the time. All right, this is of the Lord. I take the hit, right? Whatever it may be, I'm in this storm. But then we're saying this storm's a little too long. This should have passed by now. All right. And sometimes we'll get weary. All right. Want to say things he wants you to seem like you're staying in that moment forever. And when you're going through the storm, it seems like you are in it forever and by yourself. But do not get weary. There's another passage that says what? Do not get weary in well doing. Beloved, the storm or the tribulation does not signify you're in sin or you're in bad graces when it comes to the Most High. No. Don't let no falsehood teach. That's not the signal of it. But because you can still be of God and are of God if you are still being consistent on the instructions that he put in place for you. You're still keeping the law, statutes, commandments, all those things while you're going through it. You are still in that righteous realm. All right. But if you get weary and well doing, what happens? You'll start to step out of that. What's the point of me doing this? What's the point of me praying? What's the point of me fasting? What's the point of me reading? What's the point of me listening to these songs? Right now, you're getting what? Weary. You were doing well. Now you're getting weary. And this is where that flesh is weak in that sense. That this flesh does not want to go through anything. This is why you must strengthen the spiritual man. All right. Greater is he that is in me than he that's in the what? World. Okay. So your flesh will get weary, but your spirit do not have to follow the flesh. Your spirit puts the flesh in check. All right. Because you have to focus on the goal, beloved. I told you this thing is a mindset thing. If you're focusing on the goal, you're not even really getting the full impact of all the suffering that's going on. Because you know, that's not stopping me from my goal. Me going through tribulation not stopping me from my goal. Actually, it's propelling me to my goal. Because James tell you, we know the finished work, what it's supposed to be doing. But see, we want to jump out of the tribulation. But we're jumping right out of what? The perfection that the Most High is trying to do with us. All right? Let it have its perfect work. Let the Most High will be done. And it will project you further than you can ever imagine. All right? So this is why we want to what? Accept the correction of the Lord and know that what? What's going to help us? That verse 12. Yahweh loveth who he correcteth. People getting weary about when they're feeling correct and all this kind of things. No, you're supposed to have joy. That's why I said have joy in tribulation. Not that the tribulation feel good, but I'm having joy because I know this is a sign. Talk about signs all the time. What we eating is a sign. The Sabbath is a sign. Chastisement is what? A sign. A sign of what? He loves us. You don't question the sign where you get more money or this and that, right? You say, oh, yeah, I love this, right? God love me. That's why he's doing this and bless me with this and that. But we don't think the chastisement of the Lord is a blessing. We don't see it as he loves me. Whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth. Even as a father, the son of whom he delighteth. Okay? So keep that in mind, beloved. Let's go back to Ecclesiasticus. Keep that in mind. All right? I know it ain't joyous, right? I know the flesh don't like it. Okay? But we have to keep our mind on what? The goal. All right. It says those that endure to the end shall be saved. All right. Soon as this tribulation happens, a lot of times we want to stop. We want to give up. All right. But if you can go through it and weather and just stand, all right, you will see it through and you will inherit all the promise given to what? His children. All right. Anybody got anything for 1 and 2? Verse 3. He that teacheth his son grievous, him that teacheth his son grievous the enemy, and before his friends, he shall rejoice of him. Though his father die, yet he as though he were not dead, for he have left one behind him that is like himself. Okay, so beloved, we want to what? Teach our children. When we teach our children properly, right? Raise up the child the way they should go, never depart from it. We teach them properly, they will grieve the enemy. Enemy's like, oh, I'm trying to get rid of the parent. Now I got what? I got another one. Got this younger one. All right. And what? And before his friends, he shall rejoice of him. You shall rejoicing. You should be rejoicing of your children, right? Because that training and that sacrifice and all those things paid off. So it's a joy to look back and you can look at the blessing the Most High have given you. Okay. And it reads, though his father died, all right, because we all got to experience death, all right, yet he is as though he were not dead. Why is it like he's not dead? Because you instilled what? The teachings in your child. In other words, you instilled your spirit in your child. I told you the flesh DNA is what? That blood, right? We pass down. But there's a spiritual DNA that we are supposed to pass down. A spiritual DNA that we got from our Father from above, we are instilling that into our child. This is how we become the children of God. So even though our flesh, right, we die and we move right on, guess what? They still get the comforts of that teaching and of that spirit that was what? In you and guiding them. They will not be comfortless. All right. It will be as you're there with them. Okay. This is why I say we talk about death and all those kind of things. I know it can get touchy. I know it can be a sensitive subject, but we should understand we are preparing ourselves for these things and we're preparing that generation for these things. Okay. So this is why he's saying with this, he's still with them even when he's dead. All right. It's like he didn't go because he still got those teachings that even us, we probably still got some of our parents' teachings, what, in our mind. All right. So if they go, guess what? We still got that voice in our head. We doing something. Sometimes I'm doing something. I hear my mom's voice. Oh, I can't do that. I hear my dad. Right. That's how we want to do it, beloved. All right. We pass that down from generation to generation. 5. While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him. Okay. And when he died, he was not sorrowful. It's powerful, beloved. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies, and one that shall requite kindness to his friends. All right. So a beautiful thing is while you're living to see and rejoice in the child, right? And when he died, he was not sorrowful. Okay. So to have that peace when they go to say, you know what, raise a beautiful child. Okay. Now, I always want to get the opposite side. I want everybody thinking you can instill the right things in your child. They still have choice. So don't always let the reflection of how my child turned out was how I did things. Okay. Not always synonymous like that. Okay. So understand that you can teach them certain things, but they still have choice. Okay. But you want to do all you can do. All right. You want to be positive. And even if you started late on it, right? Maybe, you were out of truth and teach them things wrong and things of that nature. It's no problem, love it. Teach them what's right. Okay. And they should respect you as the mother, understand, okay, my mom acknowledged that they were doing things wrong and now I'm doing things right. That's still instilling them to what? That you could be doing things wrong all your life, but once you find out the truth or something better, you do better. Okay. So believe me, all right. we got a job to do, beloved. Okay, because we want to, when we close our eyes, know that, you know what, we did it. We did the instruction that the Most High given to them. All right, the next generation is going to have to make their choices and live, but we want to give them our best. Okay. Let's keep going. Avenger to the enemies. Yeah. Verse 7. He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds, and his bowels will be troubled at every pride. And a horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child to himself will be willful. All right. So it's telling you in verse 9, conquer the child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness. Okay. So, beloved, if we do not correct, instruct the children properly, they're going to be a problem. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a problem. Okay. We want to discipline them. All right. When things are going well, you still got to serve God and do the thing that's right. When things are not going well, still got to serve God and do things right. Okay. And some of us got upset with the older generation because we feel that, oh my God, they were so, no matter if they was poor, if they was this and that, they always talk about just serving God and giving to God and dedicating your life to God and all this stuff. It seemed like everything's about God. They didn't have a life. No, they had the life. They knew what life was about. We over there sometimes are worried about this life too much and get caught up in the cares and affairs of this life. But they knew this thing is about serving God because they were looking ahead. They were looking at the invisible things of God that he has, the promises that he's bestowed upon us. All right. Well, he will bestow upon us. They were focused on that. And some of the, generations after, some of us getting a little distracted and fell off. And you can see it all in the spirit, beloved. Some of our forefathers, they might not even have all the truth and the knowledge that some of us might have. But guess what? Their dedication was far surpassing some of us. Right? They took this thing seriously. Look at the condition of the church world today. Making jokes and mockery. Okay? But we, beloved, our children don't have to be victims of that. We want to train them right, discipline them right. Okay? But if not, they're going to be a headache to you. Okay? They're going to be a thorn in your side. Okay? So we do not want that for any of our children. Let's keep going. I'm sorry. Did anybody have anything? I didn't even check the chats. Okay. See that in the chat. Anybody have anything before we move on? All right. Verse 10. Laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him, and lest thou gnash thy teeth in the end. Give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies. Okay. So, beloved, I always say context is key. All right. So we say laugh not with them. It's not to say literally you can't laugh with your child. All right. But everything is not a laughing matter. Right. There is a season and a time for everything, like Ecclesiasticus 3 tells us. Right. Time and place. Okay. So if you over there have your child is all about jokes and games and nothing serious and things of that nature, right? That child going to go through life with that kind of mindset. And a lot of times it's going to bring what? Sorrow to you. When they start going through situations, they have not been equipped with proper tools to survive, and not to survive, to thrive in this world according to the scriptures, right? You're going to see that what? Dang, they don't have no strength. Because I didn't instill no strength in them. They just had everything as a game. Let them do whatever you want, have fun, right? And they never got instilled discipline. So look at my children now. And I'm bearing the sorrow of them. I'm bearing the burden of them. Okay? So love it. Once again, it's the same. It ain't nothing deep. He just giving us different ways to look at it, but it's the same thing. You got to raise the children properly, or it's going to be consequences. Okay? Give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies. All right. So when they're young, correct them when they're young. When they get older, they get a mind of their own. They get more stubborn in their folly. Okay. They get more resistant all right, to your words and things of that nature. So you want to make sure you get this stuff very young, beloved. Okay. It's easier to correct something when it's young, but once it's full-fledged and strong and tall and all that stuff, now that folly is going to be secure. Okay. Verse 12, bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee, and so bring sorrow to thine heart. Right? So you instill, as they still say, instill that fear young. All right. You instill it young, even when they bigger than you and all that stuff like that, they're not, trying to be disobedient. Okay. But once again, we're doing it with love. Okay. You're not just trying to instill the fear and all that kind of stuff. Because once they definitely boys, beloved, they start getting a certain age, they start sizing you up and all those kind of things, right? They might want to challenge you, okay? Because fear only lasts as long as they fear you. But once they start looking, they might say, you know what, I think I can take them. All right. So when we're doing a discipline, it's out of love. Okay. Love is strong. Love don't look at you and say, well, this person's weak now, I'm gonna take advantage. No. You know how they say, I love my mom. I love my mom. Now they know they can take their mom physically. And all that. Nah, I love my mom. I'll never. And they go to protect her. This is why we want to what? Pour in that love on. Okay. But you'll get those ones that grab that spirit and want to be rebellious and things of that nature, right? But the scripture got things with that. All right. That's why we're gonna have you got the men in the congregation, all right, with those kind of things, sometimes we got to rectify it a different way. Okay. So, beloved, once again, we want to chastise and correct it while they are young, and still the things of God while they're young. It's easier when they're young. All right. You get older, it gets a little harder. Okay. It's not that God can't do it though. All right. But still these things young, it can be part of their nature. All right. It'll be just like, chewing gum and walking. All right. So young is what you want to focus on. Okay. And we don't want to be stubborn and disobedient, which once again, that's not going to be good for us. We're not going to rejoice in that. Verse 13, chastise thy son and hold him to labor, lest his lewd behavior be an offense unto thee. All right. Once again, chastise him, but I love the thing, and hold him to labor. All right. Stop letting these children not do no work or anything. They don't know no kind of how to go up and how to work for things and things of that nature. We need to hold them to it. Keep their mind occupied. All right. As the world say, an idle mind is what? Devil's playground. All right. Because now the flesh gonna have ideas. And the flesh ideas is usually never pushing you towards Christ. Okay. So you want to keep them busy. All right. Keep them in the admonition of the Lord. All right. Remember, our job is to make them, the children of the Most High, officers of the Most High. All right. Even me, I'm trying to still my child. I am not going deacon and stuff like that. Okay. Hey, my little gangster, my little this, right? You need to what? And put that in their mind. You are a child of God. If you act a certain way, you are a certain way. You are different. You are not like everyone else. This world want to make everybody mixed in, together. We all want. No, we are not. Say you are a peculiar people. You are a righteous nation. You are a holy people. You are not of the world, and you should not desire to be of the world. All right? You are the light. Okay? So we have to constantly put this in our children. All right? Put that work. Put that definitely. So they so lazy. They're so lazy with certain things. All right? Definitely the men. You got young boys, men. They need to have a working background. All right. You don't want them to be lazy. All right. You make them lazy, you're gonna be taking care of them forever. All right. So you ain't gonna want to do that. All right. So instill these principles in them young. All right. Let's go in. It ain't a thing by yourself, beloved. This is what the church is about, right? We have the obligation here, us men, right? We should be what? Father to the fathers. All right, father to the doorless. So those things, we have that responsibility. This is why the classes, we have the classes as well. And we tell them, don't have to be just people from the congregation, right? So we want to make sure we're doing our part. Okay, and later on, Lord's willing, we have built everything. We want to try to incorporate some more things. All right, but the next generation is very important. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Verse 13, chastise thy son and hold him to labor, but least his lewd behavior be an offense unto thee. Okay, because you don't want to backfire. Better is the poor being sound and strong of constitution than a rich man that is afflicted in his body. All right. So better is the poor being sound and strong in constitution. All right. Strong mind, sharp mind, than a rich man that is afflicted in his body. Okay. Because we're going to see it. Well, matter of fact, let's read the next verse, verse 15. Health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth. All right. So our health is very, very important. Okay. Sometimes we'll sacrifice a lot of things for our health. Okay. Sometimes we'll work our bodies and, not take care of it, things of that nature, even if we're trying to, they say, chase that dollar. Okay. But guess what? That's good. You might be chasing a dollar, but at what risk? If you're sacrificing your health for it, then you realize that dollar ain't that important. All right. It's not over your health. Okay. So, beloved, make sure you're taking care of yourself. All right. I know we got to work hard. We got to do those things. And, we get, while young and strong, I'm not going against, I'm having a work ethic and trying to, get what you can get. Right. But I'm saying make sure you're taking care of yourself. Okay. Verse 16. There is no riches above a sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart. Okay, so there's nothing above, right, a sound body. Okay, there's no price when it comes to life, things of that nature. All right, believe me, all these people that have all this money and stuff like that. Oh, if they could get more life, if that money could give them more life, oh, they'll spend it all. All right, to extend life, but they can't. Okay. They can get a little operation, do little things, but we're decaying. Every day we are going closer to the grave. Okay. And no joy above the joy of the heart. Okay. There's nothing joyous than the joy of the heart, of the mind. All right. So that's why I say we need to praise the Most High that we have, right? That sound mind. There's a lot of people, because I know sometimes we get so caught up in the world pushing, it's about the money, money, go. So, but a lot of times we will forget the benefits of the Most High God. Sometimes we don't even give them the praise for the things like that. There's some that look and say, man, I will give all my money. I'll give a king's ransom to have a sound mind. I'll give a king's ransom to be able to move my fingers, my toes, to be able to get up. People give it all for those opportunities that we freely have. All right. But we don't consider sometimes what the Most High gives us. And that's going to be a downfall of us if we don't. All right. Give him double the praises than your complaints. Right. If you complain 5 times a day, give him double, triple that. All right. Start mixing up, beloved. And hopefully the more you see and you start acknowledging what God's doing for you, your complaint numbers should go down to a point where he's like, you know what, I can't complain. Right? Life might not be exactly how I envisioned it, right? But it surely can go way worse. Okay? So we want to give God the praise and thank him. I thank him for everybody being able to get on Zoom, because there's some people that can't do it. Just health-wise, they can't, whatever their members can't do it, right? So we thank the Most High for allowing us. Okay? Verse 17. Death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness. Okay. So I know, like I said, a lot of times we look at death as like it's the be all, and I get it, right? It's emotional thing, you lose somebody. But he's saying death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness. So you'll see sometimes you'll have older folks that be like, man, I can't wait to get out of here. I'm tired of suffering. I'm tired of being sick, or whatever it is, right? Some disease. I'm tired of it. I just want to be out of here. So there you go. You will have those things. Okay, that does not count as a suicide or anything like that, right? They're just saying, no, my quality of life is so bad, it's not even worth it. Okay. Verse 18, delicates poured upon a mouth, shut up are as messes of meat set upon a grave. All right. So poor delicates into a mouth that's shut, right? Can't receive it. Just like you people putting all that, they'll put y'all probably know about, but paganism, they'll do certain things like, oh, I'll put this food here and all this kind of stuff, right? Setting upon a grave. Ain't no dead person eating no food. Okay. So now you see me about the right, is transitioning. Okay. Verse 19. What good doeth the offering unto an idol? For neither can it eat nor smell. So is he that is persecuted of Yahweh. Okay. So, beloved, just like it's pointless to put a meal on a grave, expecting it's gonna be eaten, the same thing. What good does offering unto an idol? Those that's offering things to idols, what is the purpose of it? An idol can't smell nor eat. And he's saying the same thing. Now listen to the comparison. So is he that is persecuted of Yahweh. So we saying people that's persecuted of God is almost like what? An idol. All right, they're like an idol. And some of the stuff is, why are you giving this much dedication to something that's clearly persecuted, Lord, or an idol? See, this Bible can hit a lot of different points, beloved. All right? Because we could all look and say, we ain't going to make no meal, put on a grave for something to eat, because that's his point. They ain't going to do nothing. Same thing. Most High persecuted certain people that want to go against them, and you want to offer and do all these things to them, doing the same thing. Okay? And you can even link this to, pearls to swine. Let's keep going. Verse 20. He seeth with his eyes and groaneth as a eunuch that embraceth a virgin and sigheth. Right? Verse 21. Give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thy own counsel. All right. So, beloved, you want to give that over your mind to heaviness. All right. Life can be tough. Life is tough in certain situations, right? But if you still, this is what the power of the Spirit is, you don't have to give your mind over to it. When you yield your mind to it, you will what? Stay in that state, because that's all your mind is consumed with. All right? If you're consumed with, oh, things ain't going well, this is bad, this has happened to me, this kind of stuff, your mind's going to stay in heaviness. He's saying, don't give your mind to that. You do not have to submit to that. That's why I said, so as a man thinketh, so is he. If you think that you are just hated of the Lord just hates you, everything bad's happening to you, yes, you're going to see those things, and you're going to think that's where it's at. That's how the Lord's feeling, right? But those same things happen all the time, beloved. Guess what? You just don't realize it because your mind is not given over to it, right? We go through this thing, that's disappointing things that, fall short and everything in our lives. But if we have our mind focused and I give it over to it, it don't have that weight to us. All right. But a lot of the times we give our mind over to it. We give our spirit over to it. And that's when it becomes torturous to us. It can be a long burden to us. And this can be something that the Most High did not put upon you, but you put upon yourself. And we don't want to do that. So the scriptures is trying to let us know that. Okay? Don't put your mind in that. Okay? If you put your mind over to grief, right, what happens? You can get into what, as they call in the world, depression. Right? This is why the Most High kind of gives you see certain time frames, like, all right, you go and cry, you mourn, you give you that time of mourning. And then it's what? Okay, you got to get back to living. But some people give their mind and they'll stay right there. And if you stay right there, you can just go into this funk. All right. So what we give our mind over to, what we give our spirits over to, beloved, is very important. Give not that mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thy own counsel. So sometimes we'll make a decision and we'll what? Oh man, I don't think I should do it. Oh man, maybe this is why I go. And you'll go back, back and forth. I think another scripture talks about once you come to counsel and y'all make a decision, don't basically try to go back and try to kind of like correct it. All right. Because you can plague yourself. Oh, let me make the right decision. Blah, blah, blah. and you want to go, you'll go back and forth. All right. So it says when you come together and you make that informed decision, that judgment, stick with that. Okay. Because like I said, our minds is it can be a terrible thing against us if it's not being used correctly or in the spirit. All right. So we do not want to afflict ourselves in thy own counsel. All right. We know here, beloved, we said we want to serve the Most High. All right. Should be no conflicting of counsel when it comes to anything in our lives. Care how it looks, we should never conflict that counsel. Say, you know what? Do I need to serve the Most High God? Do I really want to do? Don't do that. Don't give your mind over to that. All right. Nothing good comes from that. Verse 22. The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days. All right. This is important. The gladness of the heart is the life of man. All right. That's your life. It ain't just about the longevity. See, we think longevity is the life. No, it's about the quality of it, right? Do you got the joy? Do you got the laughter and all those kind of things? That's life, okay? And the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days, all right? So it's funny, because what? The joy of the Lord is our strength. This is why our days should be prolonged, because we don't suffer as others suffer. We're not supposed to, right? We got a certain joy that can what? Not be removed. Okay? Because we are doing the instructions and doing the commandments of God, right? We get a peace of mind that passeth all understanding. People can't perceive the peace that we have. How can y'all be so happy? Look what's happening. How can you be so happy? Because we got a God. And we got a God that mapped this whole thing out. And we already know the conclusion of the whole matter. We know what the end's going to be. We know the promises. When you know that, what am I going to really get all worked up about? Anything that's happened, it's a light thing. My God had to sign off on it. And if he signed off on it, what you want me to do? I can't override him. Right? So all I can do is have peace with it. You see how it start getting real simple, beloved. It's a lot of things realize it gets real simple. Either he is the supreme being that ruleth in the kingdoms of men and all these kind of things, or he's not. Either he has the whole world in his hand, or he does not. Either he loves you and we are the apple of his eye, or we are not. But we can't keep being on both sides. We got to make a decision. And when we make our decision, choices and things get easier. But the problem is we do not make a decision. We want to stay on both sides of the fence. And that's why our mind is what? On both sides of the fence. Double-minded. And it says a double-minded man is what? Unstable in how many ways? Some of his ways? Many of his ways? Most of his ways? Or is it all his ways? You can't trust an unstable mind, because they can tell you good today and wrong tomorrow. They can tell you God is able today and God can't do it tomorrow. They can tell you, well, you got to do and be obedient today and you got to be disobedient tomorrow. I can't trust that unstable mind. All right? But beloved, we have the mind of Christ. And that mind is not unstable. That mind is not unsure. That mind is totally given over to him. Beloved, our struggles is because we don't have a made-up mind. A lot of our problem situations is because we don't have a made-up mind. That we're going to serve God no matter what. Think about that, beloved. I'm going to serve. You have a mindset that I'm going to serve God no matter what. Think how easy the decisions become. A lot of our forefathers struggled because at certain times when situations happen, they was like, well, I don't know if I want to serve. They start to think, I have a choice to, compromise my conviction of serving the Most High God. But the ones we talk about, the Moses, the Isaiahs, the Elijahs, right? Yahweh, Paul, Peter, those that get glorified for standing on it. The only thing that's different from them and us is because they had a made up mind that I'm going to serve God no matter what. And we still guessing what we want to do. That's the only difference. They're not superhumans. They're not no. Hebrews 11 said, so great cloud of witnesses. He didn't put something that you can't obtain. He put these examples in these scriptures, our forefathers, showing that we can obtain this very same thing. The only thing that's holding us back from them and us is what? We didn't make up in our mind that we're going to serve Yahweh no matter what. Through the good, through the bad, through the rain, through the storm, through persecution, through glory, whatever it is, are you going to serve the Most High God? And until we make that decision, life is going to continue to be hard. That's just what it is, beloved. That's what the scriptures teach. Right? We have to have a made-up mind. Or what we're doing is going to be in vain. Right? Let's keep going. The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of the man prolongeth his days. Verse 23. Love thy own soul and comfort thy heart. Remove sorrow far from thee, for sorrow hath killed many, and there is no profit therein. Strong, beloved. All right. If any of the brothers and sisters that fight depression, all those kind of things, these are the things that it is. Scriptures talk about it. Right? Say what? Love yourself. Depression is a form of what? You're not really caring to love yourself. Why? And he says, comfort thy heart. Well, how will we comfort our heart? How can we get out of this state? Remove sorrow far from thee. And sorrow can come in different form and fashions. Sometimes other people are saying in a form of sorrow. Get away from them. What are you listening to? What are you reading? All these kind of things are sources that can get in you. You have to remove yourself from these things. Why? Because the scriptures tell us sorrow have killed many. You know how many people died just from sorrow? Just from a sad heart, a broken heart, sometimes they'll say. Yeah, we should already know that. Many people died just off of sorrow. Think about that, beloved. Yeah, how crazy that is. Many people died off of sorrow alone. And there is no profit therein. Do somebody stay in sorrow and it's good for them? Like, man, whoa, life got so good since I stayed in sorrow. No. The strength is not in sorrow. All right? Staying in sorrow is not strength. Right? You can experience sorrow, but beloved, you're experiencing it and you're experiencing what? You have a day that you need to get out of this. It's not to sit comfortable in sorrow. It does not benefit you. It does not strengthen us. Okay? All right, verse 24, 25. Envy and wrath shorten thy life, and carefulness bringeth age before the time. A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. Right? So I did add that verse already to the lesson. When it comes to wrath and anger and stuff, right? Envy and wrath shorten our life. Remember, I told you shit, you ain't supposed, the body's not prepared, and they built it to hold those things, right? So that sorrow, that wrath, that envy, these kind of spirits are not for us. This is why sometimes you'll see somebody in their ages, they're like, man, they look like they've been through it. It looks like life has not been well to them, right? Because the world has given them this and they didn't have the power to kick it. And it aged them because it literally is killing them. The Most High don't want us to have that. He designed that we have life and what? It more abundantly. Understand that? Life and it more abundantly. All right? We should not be plagued by those things. We're going to what? Overcome those things. All right? By the power and strength of Yahweh, as they say, by Hashem, all right? I mean, in the name of what? Yahweh Shai. It's the world called Jesus. Right? So, beloved, hopefully this strengthens us, this encourages us, right? We got children, we got young ones. Make sure we're guiding them correctly, all right? And also make sure you're taking care of yourself, okay? They call it self-care, but the Bible talks about that. We're supposed to be self-caring, caring for ourselves, all right? And if we feel overwhelmed, you have brothers and sisters here all right, to support you. Okay, so we thank the Most High for that. Okay, we thank the Most High for that. Anybody have anything they want to add before we close out? All right. Those that are watching through YouTube, all right, we say shalom and ayana habatham, which means peace, and we love you all, right? So shalom.